Hey guys, welcome along. Nigel here, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and this is part 11 of the Saturn V, the 1/144th scale kit from Revell. And as you can see, I've got it here now, and I've masked off the black. Why have I done it this way? The reason being is, if you do the white first, and then when you spray the black you get some overspray, you've then got to try and cover the black overspray with the white paint. Doing it this way, I've basically masked off the black, sprayed the black as you saw in part 10, and now you can see like small areas like under here where there's a bit of black, and there's a couple of areas on here where it crept under the tape. So now I've got little tiny edges of black to cover with the white, and I can concentrate on getting a really good finish on the rest of the white. If I do get any bleed through from the white onto the black, it's really easy to cover up. So that's why I've done it this way. It's taken forever to mask. Yes, it does take a long time to mask, and it uses a lot of masking tape. You can see I've also used some of my Mr. Hobby masking fluid there. But I personally think this is the best way to get a really neat and tidy job. Yes, it's a lot of faff, but I put so much work into these seams and everything, as you know, and you know, there's a hell of a lot of work gone into this model, and for what is basically at the end of the day a toy, you know, it's been a lot of work. But the reason I did this, the whole reason for doing this was, one, I wanted a Saturn V rocket to display in the living room, and two, I wanted to show you guys how to deal with seams, and what better to do it on than with something like this. I mean, you can see the seam here. The only way you can see the seam is from where I've scribed here. So the seam is actually under there. So I think you'll agree, you know, that is pretty invisible. So, you know, I'm pleased with that. And that is all down to, if you watch the videos and you listen to what I say, it's all down to the patience of taking your time when you build it and then leaving it. Don't try and fill it, rub it down, paint it, finish paint it all in the same day. It doesn't work. What would have happened then, I would have had a line there where it sinks back. I may be able to find something here where it's sunk back. Now, I'm not sure the camera can see it. I can see it there is just a bit of sinkage there. Maybe if I rub it with a dirty sanding stick, maybe it'll show it up. I don't know if you can see that. It is just visible. If it was matte, you probably wouldn't even see it. But because this is like a satin finish, then you probably can. But you can just see it there. So I'm not going to worry about it, because, you know, you have to really look for it. But you can, if you can catch that in the light there, you can see that either side is darker than the center, so you can see where it's just shrunk. So I've got two choices now. I can just ignore it, forget it. I can put some Mr. Surfacer on it and then sand it back, or I could leave it for another week and then put some Mr. Surfacer on and sand it back, or I could just sand it back. I'm not sure. If I sand it back, will it disappear? You know, it's one of those things you've got to make your mind up. You know, I can just see it. I know it's there now, so it'll probably bug me, but you know, it's the only area where we can see a seam at all, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I'm going to get this white painted white now. I'm going to use some of the Mr. Hobby base white, which is this one here. It's very old. You can see £3. It's more than double that now, I think, so it's very old, but it goes on just so nicely, and it gives a sort of a satiny finish to it as well, and it's beautiful for rubbing down. Of course, being a Mr. Hobby product, it's going to be good. They all are. And I have to remember to take that tape off of there, and then once all this is done, I need to get the inside of there painted that chromate green as well, because I've got a lot of white overspray in there from the tons of work I've had to do to correct all the mess ups I've had on here. So I'll get this painted white, and then I'll come back to you and we'll see where we go from here. So here we are once again. The white is all done. So this is Mr. Base White again on here. And what I'm going to do is just start to do some unmasking. So let's start with this one and get my tweezers. Sorry guys, not prepared as usual. Some nice tweezers here. And then we're just going to get the tweezers under the tape. Give it a flick and start getting some off. There's a lot of little tiny bits on here because I wanted it to mask around those little white parts. You can see I've got some bleed through there. There's a bit of gap in the tape. And there's also a tiny little bit of bleed through underneath as well. This round the top should be pretty good. And it is. So there we can see that one's looking lovely. Bit of a bleed through there, just to touch in with some black. I may have just put 2 bits of masking tape and just gently blow it. But I'm going to get that a lot probably. These little areas here I'll probably just dab a brush on. I'm going to give this a coat of clear anyway to before I put the decals on. And then I'm also going to have to, then after the decals are on, I'll have to have another coat of clear to seal it. And then I'll probably give it a coat of flat varnish, because I've noticed with a slight sheen on it, you can just see there's a slight, I don't know if you're going to pick it up, but there is a slight flat up there that you can see. So with any gloss or anything on it, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. So I may have before corrected it, but the trouble is there's so much paint under here, and if you remember, I've got that that awful aerosol paint which caused me a lot of issues. That's under there, so I don't want to start rubbing through that because I don't know what it's going to do. But it seems that since I put that on there, the black keeps coming through, but I'm not particularly too worried. I'm probably going to give it a wash as well. I'm probably going to try and wash the black areas with a very dark grey, and then try and do the white areas with a lighter grey, and or very light grey, just to sort of give it some tone and stop it looking, you know, maybe a bit less toy-like. Let's have a look at this one here. We'll see how this has come out. This should be better up here. As you can see, it's a lot. I mean, I've probably spent more on paint and materials on this model than the actual kit itself. So be prepared for that. If you're going to build this model, it is very reasonably priced for what you're getting, but you are going to use a lot of materials. So there we go, a little bit of a bleed through there. That's nothing. I can touch that in with a brush. As you can see, just pick this corner up here. I'm quite happy with how it's come out, and I've got my Mr. Hobby mask on there, and there's also some very thin masking tape around the top there. There's a bit of bleed through on that corner. You can see this is actually 0.5mm masking tape. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that's come out. This area down here is probably going to be a nightmare because there are so many little corners and nooks and crannies and everything. It's a nightmare. But so far so good. Careful not to scratch the black. Probably better off doing this with a toothpick, lifting the corners up. Much less likely to scratch the black. So I'll go on and just carry on demasking, but you can see how that's come out really nice there. So yeah, happy with that. That edge is good, that edge is good. Yeah, happy with that. So I'll go on and carry on unmasking all this, and then I'll come back. Right, so these are all demasked now, as you know, and I've given it all a quick coat of Future just to seal it all in so that I don't, you know, any finger marks or anything can be wiped off. But quite pleased with how it's come out. It's could have been better. It's not perfect, but then I guess no models are. But I'm going to get the decals on and then give a little touch up afterwards and then put a matte coat on it. But yeah, quite pleased with how it's come out all in. Not too bad at all. So now we're going to look at this Lunar module and the gold foil. Now this is from a Kit Kat Easter egg, and there's also some on a Yorkie Easter egg as well. So of course I had to buy both, and I think I even bought 2 of each. So I've got plenty of this now. So there's an excuse for eating chocolate if ever you've heard one. So I'm trying to think of the best way to go around this, and I'm going to do it live on camera, which is probably not the best thing to do. But I'm thinking if I lay it down this way, and then I can slit it, fold it up, and then push it into the area around around the motor there, and then just perhaps put some glue in there, you know, fold it back out, put some glue in and then glue it down. So let's see how we get on. So I think what I'll do first of all is just get it here, and I think what I'll do is slit. I think I'll make a slit there, and I'll make a slit there, and then see what happens if I fold this up. I guess it's easier with the legs out of the way. If I try and fold this up around there, and I guess cocktail stick's going to be my friend here, and push it around, nudge it around the leg like that, and do the same on this side. Okay, so that seems to have gone well. And then I should be able to just push it down. I'll try not to make any holes in it. I should be able to just nudge that down, folding it up neatly. Like so. Yeah, it looks like it works quite well. So I'll do the same here. Fold that up behind there, fold that up behind there. Be careful not to rip it. We've got those big US flags on the black backgrounds that go on here, so that should help to cover up any joins. And I mean, anyway, this isn't part of the display model, so I was going to paint it gold, but I promised myself from the outset that I would do this. So that's my main reason for doing it. And also it's good practice for the 96 scale one, because that's going to have to be done and have to be better than this one. So I'll trim this off here. Then slip that there. I'll trim some of that away as well. And then this can tuck up in there, and that side can tuck up in there. That can all get folded over and down. And I may even see if I can cut some strips and wrap them around the legs, because they were covered in this gold foil as well, weren't they? I don't want to restrict the movement too much, because then it won't fit back in the stage 3 or the S4 or the SLA, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's all gone in there now, nice and snug. It's probably a bit much foil actually. Yeah, it's not quite as neat and tidy as I may have liked, but get some scissors. Where's my little scissors gone? Let's just give all this a little trim. Try and get those joints to hide behind the legs. I think once it's all nudged in, it's just going to stay there on its own because of its, you know, because it's so ductile it doesn't spring off, it just stays wherever you put it. It's almost like lead. There we go. Now we'll just trim it's all bunched up there, I don't want it too thick there. What I'll do is just trim this off. Like so. Oh, I took a bit much off there, haven't I? So I need to manipulate that piece of foil round now to go under there. Sorry guys, this is death by foil plating, isn't it? There we go. I'm happy with that. So now we should be able to get this and tuck it down in around that engine. Just trim some more of that off there. And trim that angular piece off there because that's going to stick out and look silly. Trim some of that off, trim some of that off. I'll get rid of that there as well. And then we should be able to just pull on this and tug about and get it all to go down in that gap. And it looks like it might just stay here without any glue. No, it's not going to stay without glue, is it? Okay, so I'm going to have to glue it. But there you go, you get the general idea. It kind of looks something like it's supposed to. If you squint and move away and you're blind. There we are. So I'll go on and glue this down now. I'm going to probably try that Revell clear glue. Give that a go finally, and if it doesn't stick this, then I may as well just throw it away because it doesn't seem to stick anything else. So I'm quite happy with that looks. I think it looks better than gold paint. I don't know what you think, but I think it looks a lot better than just having gold paint. And there we go guys, foil all done. Could have been tidier. Guess what, this stuff didn't stick it, so you know, I thought this stuff was a equivalent to you know, to crystal clear, something like that, micro scale crystal clear, but I think it's more of an equivalent to water because it doesn't seem to glue anything. Maybe I've just got a bad bottle, I don't know, but anyway, it's just a waste of time. So there we go, we've got the foil on there now. We can take the accent part away like that. That still comes away and that'll stay on there like that, and then I can use my service module to go and pick it up with the magnet and fly away. So quite happy the way that's come out. And then obviously they would ditch that, and then come in with that a little bit. So next is going to be decals. Okay, so there we go. I've done a lot of the touching up now. I think I may go over and do some other little bits with the airbrush, but yeah, I'm happy with that now, how it looks. You'll also see I've done the silver bits on the bottom of here. That's basically the guns metalizer paint, aluminium, which is here, aluminium they call it, and yeah, I've basically brushed that on. I masked it all up, I wrapped paper all around here and everything, and used loads of masking tape, and I thought, hang on, for that little bit I don't want to put metallic paints in my airbrush, so I just brush painted it, and then it's only about half an hour ago, and then you can come around with a cotton bud if you want and just give it a polish up. You can polish it with your finger. It's very hard wearing. I had to add a little bit of bleed through. You can just see there where I've done a touch up with a bit of black, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's come out. And if we look at it with the fins, with the fin in place, I think it should look quite nice. Let's have a look. Get these fins, they're a very tight fit. And there we go. In fact, I don't think I'll bother gluing them. So that's how it's going to look on the on the bottom end, as it were. I've got just more black touch up there. So you keep spotting bits that you keep missing. So I guess now it's time for decals. Right, I've got the decaling guide here, and basically we can see that we've got marks around here that sort of indicate the position of everything. So we must make sure that we get everything basically correct and in line. Now, if you remember, if I'd be using this stand, there's two holes in the back. This is the front of the stand, here's the front here. So these two pins on the back, which I've cut off, would have gone in those two holes there. So it would have sat like that on the stand. Okay? And if you remember, I removed those lugs, so it won't sit there now anyway. Now, basically, so looking at the model here, this is going to be B, this is going to be C, and this is going to be D, so that one there is A. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a pencil mark up in here where it won't be seen. In fact, I'll use a pen because it won't be seen once the engines are in. So that one is A, there. This one is D, this one is C, and this one is B. Okay, so now we know we're okay there, we're marked out. And then looking at it, I'm hoping I've got the painting correct. If we go around here, you can see, I don't know if you can make it out in the picture, there's a little square lug there just below that peg. And then when you actually look at the interstage section, there's a little square undercut, and they have to line up. So basically that's going to go on there like that, and that's A. So yeah, I've got it, looks like I've got it correct, this bit here. So if I have A facing me, which is that one there, I should see the large segment like that there. So there we go, so that's cool, happy with that. And obviously there's no orientation on that one paint wise. There is the same thing, you've got there's a semicircular mark there, and then on here you've got a semicircular mark there, you can just see it. So you line them up like so. So you've got a semicircular mark there, and you've got a square lug there. There's a circular lug on that one between stage 2 and the interstage, and then there's a square mark there. So that's how it all goes together. So yeah, happy with that. So let's get on and get some decals on and make sure we keep our orientation correct. Okay, as you can see, I've got most of the major decals cut out now, and I've got them laid into different sort of areas like this. These are all the main ones for the stage 1, and then we'll put these little numbers on, and then I'll get the fins and put those on. And then this is all for stage 2, yeah, and then these are for stage 3. So, and then we've got a few other little bits and pieces I've got over here, and there's these little tiny bits and pieces there. So let's start by getting some of these main ones done. I've got my little tub of warm water here. These flags that go around, I want to make sure they're all sort of pretty much in line and everything. So what I'm doing, I've put some masking tape on there, and that gives me the height that way, so I know that they're all going to be pretty level. But if you look on here, they need to be kind of central over the white patches. So I think these white patches are about 27mm wide, and I know that that gap there, if I measure it, is 4mm. So that's 31mm over to there. So if I mark a line, let's use a pen. If I mark a line on here at 4mm, and then half of 27 is 13.5, so I can actually bend these rules around. Oops. I can actually bend that into a shape so it's more relevant. So I've got my line there. No, it was 4mm, not 9. Dough. So 27mm, and then another 27mm, and then another 27mm. And it should work out that it kind of join up. And there we go. So there's your 27mm. So now I know that my flags need to be here, here, here and here. Okay, now the flags are probably 27mm. I haven't measured them. No, they're actually about 29mm. So I need to basically put the flags on just above the masking tape and in that area there, and then I know that I'm all correct. So just like usual, where I've lost the pen cap, just like usual, I'll do this live on camera and it'll probably all go pear-shaped. So what I'll do, I'll just get this one, plonk it in the warm water for a few seconds, face up, never face down. Sorry, face down, never face up, isn't it? And then leave that unfit. I'll do another one as well. Just leave them on the side there, just keep those away until they decide they want to start playing ball. Get myself a cotton bud ready. I won't be using set of solution on these bigger ones because they're just basically gone onto a flat surface, so they don't need it. In fact, sometimes when you use setting solution on bigger decals, it can make them fall apart, wrinkle up, and they don't go back. I remember when I was a youngster, I built a beautiful Hasegawa silk cut jag and used setting solution on the rear wing where it had a great big silk cut decal, and it all wrinkled up and it never went back. So learnt my lesson there. So that one's ready to go. So I'm just going to put some water on here, and then we can slide this into place. And straight away I can see I've got a bit of fluff there. I don't want that going underneath the decal. And then I can line that up between those lines and put it just above the masking tape. And that's it, done. It's as easy as that. I must say that has gone down very, very nicely. Okay, so this is our first bit of colour on our black and white disaster. Right, and then the next one. Just hold it in place with a thumb, slide the paper out. Nudge it about a bit. And there we go. Now, as far as accuracy goes, I'm not quite sure this is correct, because in the photographs I've seen, I'm not sure Apollo 4 even had these. But I want it to have a bit of colour, and I mean, it's not an accurate model anyway, so hey. So I'll carry on and do the rest of these, and then I'll come back and show you some more decaling in a minute. So all the decaling's done, you can see there. I think we've got some silvering here, but I'm hoping it's going to be hidden under a coat of clear. Still a little disappointing that. Maybe I should have used some setting solution on them, but yeah, there's definitely some silvering there. So I may be able to do something with it afterwards. We'll have a look. So yeah, then there's stage 2 and 3. They're all done. We've got all the nice United States stripes on everything. We got the I don't know what they are, but I think basically all this was done to check for correct rotation during launch or something. And then we've got the little United States here. We've got the United States on the actual command module as well. There's a little representation of the doorway there, and also they give you decals for here for the sides of the lunar module, the descent stage. And what I did is I cut them out of the paper, didn't use them as decals, and I went round them with a black pen and just glued them onto the gold foil with some white glue. So yeah, quite happy with that. So and you see here the magnet's working, comes along, picks it up, here you go. So yeah, really chuffed with how this has come out. Could have taken a bit more care and got it better at the end, but when I discovered the inaccuracies and stuff, and the fact that, you know, even with all the work on these seams, it hasn't come out perfect, but you know, it's a Saturn V and it'll look great from 10 feet away. So yeah, it looks like there's some silver in there as well, look, which is a real shame because it's got a gloss coat under it. It's not a heavy gloss coat, but there's a gloss coat there. So yeah, not very happy with that at all. So anyway, final bit of the assembly now. I need to get these engines onto the base plate. So what I'm going to do is look around the engines, got a bit of dust on them where they've been sat so long, and choose the best ones, or find the worst one, should I say. So the worst, if there's one with a really visible seam or whatever, then I can put that one in the middle. And they're all pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, that one's, you can see the seam on that one, so I'll put that one in the middle. So that's just going to go in like that. So I think what I'll do with this is put that in place, and then I'll put some of this Mr. Cement Deluxe in there. So it's slightly thicker than your normal extra thin, and it's very hot, so that should stick in there. It should start welding at any moment. Should be the operative word. Yeah, the glue's gone in there and it's started working. There we go. So they're going to have to be left to set, make sure it's all vertical. I think what I'll do is I'll get all these done now, and then I'll come back to you and we'll look at the putting those in. And here she is, guys. I've had to take the phone off the frame, and then I can just pan back here across the room, and then you get to see my bench as well. You can see I've got all my glues there across the back, and then on the side here I've got my box with all my blades and everything. There's another light over there, and that cabinet is where I keep all my lot of paints and plastic card and saws and all bits and pieces. But there's basically what we're looking for in this video, and there's our Saturn V all complete. And if I can do this one-handed, you can see if we go up to the top, I can take the LES off, I can take the command module off, I can take the command service module off, and then down inside there we've got our little Lunar module sat there. And basically, that door to open, you can see we could come in, take our Lunar module out and fly around with it. So this is a good toy and a model and everything else. So there we go, guys, and one final look at it all reassembled there, and there you go. And we can move around and look at it from different angles, and I think you can agree the seam work has come out great. I would have liked to have made a better job of this area here where I've got the scribing, but I think the seam work has come out great, and I hope that you guys have learned something from it. Just give it a spin round. I hope that you guys have learned something from it, and yeah, so I may give this a gloss coat, I may not, I don't know. I'll have to think about it and see if these decals start to lift. If they do, I might have to get some more and do it all again. But anyway, that's it, we're finished. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been, I think it's 11 parts, and yeah, so keep your eyes open. The next to be finished, I think, will be the space shuttle, which is here. There you go. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support, guys. Thanks for your support on Patreon. I will be giving you a shout out in a June update, so thanks very much for that, and thanks for your subscriptions. I think I'm about 10 away now from 3,000, so yeah, brilliant. So thanks, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.